audio settings. Go to audio settings.
Yes, there and here.
There you went on, and then there are only 4 options. Automatic join audio by computer when joining, and nothing else. Only 4 things.
Only first speaker is there, then microphone, then this
Ah,
4 options.
audio profile.
Audio profile is not there.
No, no. Audio profile is not there. So in the settings, you will be seeing general, video, audio, share screen, team chat on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Here is audio. पता नहीं फिर क्या हो रहा है. चलिए ठीक है. Maybe you need to update the Zoom. पता नहीं. Okay. Okay. काफी background noise आ रहा था ना, इस वजह से I was trying to turn it off. चलिए फिर. See here. So today we are going to learn about structure of atom. ठीक है. 3 chapters are done in your school, right? Basic concepts of chemistry, atomic structure, and periodic properties, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So today, see, we have already done the basic concepts of chemistry. For basic concepts of chemistry, you will be given extra classes and recordings. Okay. So we will start with some extra classes. Then I will give you some recordings. You watch those recordings, and then we will again take some doubt classes. Now I need you to watch recordings because I cannot speak in 2x, right?
Yes.
Like I can only speak in 1x in normal life. But if you see the recording, in recording you can have in your own comfort 1x, 1.5x, 2x. And with the recordings, you'll be able to complete the portions a bit more quickly than in extra classes. So there will be extra classes in the starting, okay? So that you get to know how I am teaching things. Directly recordings in a same nahi rahega aapke liye. So initially we'll do some extra classes. Then there will be recordings. After the recordings, you will be having doubt classes. So obviously in the recordings, you may get some doubts or you may have some problem in a certain numericals. So those things we will be dealing in the extra classes then. Make sense, Sajid?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
ठीक है. Right now we are going to start structure of atom. The structure of atom में आप तो पूरे starting से आएंगे. And structure of atom, it does not require anything from the first chapter, that is basics of some basic concepts of chemistry. Both of these chapters are completely independent. ठीक, कोई dependency यहाँ पे नहीं है. Now, structure of atom, it is composed of 2 different sections. Structure of atom. It is composed of 2 different sections. The first section, it is dealing with the history of atomic structure. You don't need to write this down. कुछ लिखने की आपको जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे, ठीक है? Just try to understand today. So structure of atom, it is composed of 2 different sections. First is history of the structure of atom. So in history, we are basically going to learn about different models of atom. In the different models, we are going to learn about Thomson model, Rutherford model, then the Bohr's model. And to understand Bohr's model, we have to understand waves. So we will also talk about waves in this particular topic of history. Now, this is first taught in chemistry. First, history of the atomic structure is there. The next topic that we have to deal with is quantum numbers.
Yes.
कौन-कौन से टॉपिक है बताइए इन स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ एटम? We have, first of all,
history of model.
History. We are going to learn about the models of atoms.
Models of
Then the
different
second,
quantum
scientists. And then we have quantum numbers. Now, this history and the model, the different models, it includes approximately 3 to 5 experiments. And all of these 3 to 5 experiments, they have got Nobel Prize. So obviously, if you want to understand an experiment, although we don't need to do the experiment, we just only need to understand the observations and what are the conclusions from those experiments. But even to understand the observations and the conclusion of a Nobel Prize winning experiment, it is expected to be tough, right? Yes. I hope you are not expecting a Nobel Prize winning experiment to be easy. And these are also numerically dense. They're numerically dense topic. That means you will be having a lot of calculations in these particular topics. And this is also a bit lengthy. This topic is also a bit lengthy. Now, these are the reasons what happens. This history of the atomic structure, it gets stretched a bit too long. And till the time we reach quantum numbers, students are already bored of that particular. Students are already bored of this particular chapter because structure of atoms is a large chapter, and most of the time is taken by the history. So what happens? The students are like, "Oh my God, thak gaye hum." And but what happens in quantum number is that quantum number is conceptual
Okay.
and it is easy, I would say. If I compare it with the history and the different experiments, it is quite easy to understand. Okay, it's quite easy, but it is more important. But it is more important. Now, what generally happens? Students are almost exhausted till they reach quantum numbers, and they do not have much concentration left in order to do the quantum numbers. That is why they are a bit more relaxed when they are understanding quantum numbers because वो tough topics से आसान topic की तरफ आए तो then they do not put so much concentration. They easy तो है और फिर उसमें क्या हो जाता है? They do not remember much of the things from the quantum numbers. But quantum numbers is going to be used in the third chapter. It is going to be used in the fourth chapter, chemical bonding. It is going to be used in the chapter organic chemistry of 11th standard. It is going to be used in 12th standard in coordination compounds also. Okay, so quantum numbers is one of the most important topics that we are going to learn in this particular class 11. And this quantum numbers is not going to be repeated in any other chapter, but it is going to be used in each and every chapter. Most of the chapters is going to use something from the quantum numbers. So it is most important topic that we are going to learn till now in the 11th standard. अब इसके बाद like you are going to build things up from the quantum numbers only. So this is what is the most important. That is why we are going to take the quantum numbers first, and then we will move on to the history. बात समझ में आ गई सब? ठीक है, सुनो साजिद, make sense?
Yes.
Yes or no? ठीक है. So you are going to put all the effort in quantum numbers. If you don't put much effort in the history, that's also fine because history of atomic structure, it is numericals. In numericals, you have to put efforts, you have to write things down, you have to get to an answer. But quantum numbers में आपको समझने की जरूरत है. ठीक है?
जी.
बात समझ में आ गई. अब आप क्या करेंगे ना, सिर्फ आपको सुनना है. आज हम कुछ चीजें पूछते रहेंगे आपसे. आपको हिंदी थोड़ी बहुत आती है ना?
हाँ. क्या?
Do you understand हिंदी a bit?
हाँ, पूरा हिंदी.
पूरा अच्छा अच्छा आती है. ठीक है. So sometimes I switch to Hindi also. So I just want to make sure that you understand Hindi. Okay. Make sense, Sajid?
जी.
जी. तो हम लोग पढ़ने वाले हैं. We are going to learn about quantum numbers. Quantum number. Now, what is quantum number? Whenever I say quantum number, or whenever you hear quantum number, what thing should pop up in your head is the word address of electron. What should pop up in your head, Sajid? Address of electron. This is how I write electron, okay? Address of electron. ठीक है? Electron I will be denoting as E negative. ठीक है?
जी.
Okay? Quantum number मतलब address of electron. Now, in order to understand the address of anywhere, for example, where do you live in Oman? Oman, right?
Yes.
Sajid?
Yes.
You live in Oman, no? So the
Yes.
address how we write in Oman will be a bit different of the address how you write in India. Like in India, you will tell the village, but I hope in Oman you will not have villages, right?
Yes. No villages.
I know. So no villages. So that is why, in order to understand the address of somewhere, you have to first of all understand that particular city, that particular country, or that particular world. Let's suppose there were people living in Mars. So the way they write address will be different from what we are going to write. So similarly, when we want to talk about the address of electron, first of all, we will have to understand the electronic world in order to understand the address of electron. Make sense?
Yes.
Right. So we will now first of all understand how the electronic world is made up of, and then we will understand how this address of electron is coming into being. Now, first of all, we have to understand, कुछ लिखना नहीं है आपको, सिर्फ सुनते रहिए. Something that you have already heard, orbit or shell. है ना? In the lower standard, K, L, M, N, these are the shells, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now the orbit or the shell was what? The path, the circular path in which electron is moving. Make sense?
Yes.
Now we will give this analogy, like we have to learn everything in terms of address. So in terms of address, like orbit or shell will be the street number in human world. Make sense, you know? Street
Yes.
number, gully number, or mahalla, right?
हाँ.
ठीक है, Sajid? Okay. Now,
जी
in
ठीक.
each street, there will be some buildings, correct? Yes or no? In each building,
Yes.
sorry, in each street, there will be some buildings. Similarly, in each orbit or shell, there are suborbit or subshell. Now, this suborbit or subshell is similar to what our in the human world buildings. Makes sense, you know, Sajid? Okay?
Yes.
Now, if one of your friend has reached your street or your gully or your mahalla, then generally what we try, we tell them the color of our house or we tell the color of our gate in order to identify the building that we live in. Make sense, Sajid?
Yes.
Even though all the buildings in Oman would be white in color, but hopefully in India that would work because in India we will be having different colored buildings. Correct, Sajid?
Yes.
है ना? बात समझ में
हाँ.
आ रही है कि सिर्फ यस बोल रहे हैं आप?
क्या?
आ रही है? बात समझ में आ रही है या सिर्फ यस बोल रहे हैं?
हाँ, समझ में आ रही.
आ रही है ना? ठीक है, ध्यान सुनिएगा सिर्फ, ठीक है? So similarly, the suborbit and subshells are present. Now we have different suborbit or subshell. S, then we have P, then we have D, we can have F,
जी.
we can have G, we can have H, and so on. Now S is also represented by a number that is 0. So P के
1,
लिए 1, D के लिए 2, F के लिए 3, G के लिए 4,
4.
and H के लिए 5. ठीक है? We will come to this number later on, but right now just S0, P1, ठीक है? बस बता दिया मैंने आपको. Now, in our human world, buildings they have different colors, but in electronic world, the subshells or the suborbit they have different shapes. So the s orbital it is spherical in shape. The p orbital is dumbbell in shape. The d orbital is double dumbbell in shape. Something like this. So as buildings they have different colors, suborbit and subshells they will have different shapes. Clear, Sajid?
हाँ जी. Clear.
ठीक है? And these subshells are going to hold some electrons, and the maximum number of electrons that the s subshell can hold is 2 electron. P can hold 6 electron. D can hold 10 electrons. Now I want your input. देखिए these two things ना, I mean the p orbital में देखिए double double दिए जो है ना, so these are the two lobes.
जी.
जैसे ear lobes की तरह दिख रहा है आपको?
हाँ.
Ear lobes have similar shape ना? ठीक है, तो similarly in the S subshell you have only one lobe. We have only one lobe.
1 low.
In the D subshell we'll have four lobes. We are having four lobes. Make sense?
हाँ.
Correct? What do you
जी.
think? What will be the number of lobes in the F subshell? What will be the number of lobes in the F subshell?
F subshell.
Look at the pattern. S has one, P has two, D has four. How many in F?
8, 8.
Very good, 8 lobes. How many in the G subshell?
16.
Very good, 16 lobes. How many in the H subshell?
32.
32 lobes. Very good. And since you can see that 8 lobes, 16 lobes, and 32 lobes will be very difficult to make, that is why NCERT says that all of these, the shapes of these particular subshells will be complex. Got it? Yes or no, Sajid?
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, try to tell me the number of electrons that will be in the F. S has maximum of 2 electrons. 6 can hold maximum of 6. Sorry, P can hold maximum of 6 electrons. D can hold maximum of 10 electrons. How many
F
electrons do you think will be there in the F14? Correct. G के लिए
18.
18. H के लिए
22.
very good. ठीक है. Now we have got the building. Now, in the building, there will be different apartments. You may live in the first apartment, second, third apartment, so on. A similar thing in the case of electronic world is the orbital. So orbital is going to give you the idea about the apartment in which the electron is present. Apartment. But the definition of orbital is generally given as the space where you have the maximum probability of finding
Electron.
electron. Of finding
Electron.
electron. Okay? So now let us just conclude once again. So we have three different things in the electronic world. We have orbit. Then inside orbits, you will find many suborbit or subshells. We generally use the word subshell. And inside the subshells, you will get some orbitals. You will get orbitals. So orbit is similar to what we have as street in our human world. In every street, you will find some buildings. And in buildings, you will find certain apartments. So this analogy works for you, yes or no? याद रहेगा? Inside the orbit, you will have subshell. Inside the subshell, you will have orbit. Inside the street, you will have buildings. Inside the buildings, you will have apartment. Make sense, yes or no?
जी अच्छा
ठीक है. No.
हाँ
We have four quantum numbers, जिसमें से three are more important. जो ये तीन चीजें हैं ना, orbit, subshell, and orbitals. These are told by the three quantum number. First of all, we are going to learn that is first is principal quantum number. Principal quantum number. Then we have another that is known as azimuthal quantum number. Then we have
स्पिन
another that is
क्वांटम
known as magnetic quantum number. नहीं मैग्नेटिक स्पिन बाद में स्पिन छोड़ दीजिए. आपने बुक खोली दिया है क्या?
नहीं स्कूल में
नहीं ना.
पढ़ा है
कोई नोट्स वोट्स नहीं ना. अरे स्कूल में पढ़ा है इसके पास. ठीक है ठीक है. चलिए इस अभी बस सुनना है आपको वैसे ना. तीन पहले हम लोग समझते हैं, उसके बाद स्पिन को हम लोग लास्ट ले लेंगे. प्रिंसिपल क्वांटम नंबर इट इज डिनोटेड बाय द लेटर एन. azimuthal quantum number it is denoted by the letter L. Magnetic quantum number it is denoted by the letter M. ठीक है. Now principal quantum number will tell you about the orbit or shell. ऑर्बिट के बारे में या फिर शेल नंबर के बारे में बताएगा. एजीमुथल क्वांटम नंबर प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड. ऑर्बिट का मतलब क्या हुआ? शेल हुआ. एजीमुथल क्वांटम नंबर विल टेल यू अबाउट द सब शेल. ठीक है. इट विल टेल यू अबाउट द सब शेल. बट सब शेल क्या है आपके पास? बिल्डिंग. यू कैन नॉट टेल द बिल्डिंग नंबर अंटिल अनलेस योर फ्रेंड इज ऑन द सेम स्ट्रीट. है ना. आपका आपके फ्रेंड पहुंच गए सूर और सूर ने आपको बोल दिया हाँ मेरे बिल्डिंग का कलर ना व्हाइट है या फिर मेरे बिल्डिंग का कलर ग्रे है. That's not going to help them, right? Once they reach your street and then you tell them the building color or you tell them the number of the building, then it is going to help them. क्या ख्याल है साजिद? सुन रहे हैं कि नहीं सुन रहे हैं? आप कहाँ हैं?
क्या
हेलो एम आई ऑड? आप ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं साजिद. चलिए ठीक है सर. तो ऐसे ही समझिए सर. डिड यू हियर व्हाट आई सेड?
हेलो
साजिद एम आई ऑडिबल क्लियरली? पहले ये बताइए आप.
हाँ वो थोड़ा थोड़ा आवाज अटक रही है
अच्छा. एक तो आपकी तरफ से ना बहुत ज्यादा बैकग्राउंड नॉइज है. अच्छा कैन यू टर्न योर माइक ऑफ बाय द वे?
मुझे
ठीक है. आई एम सेइंग that until and unless you are in the street, you cannot tell anyone about the building color. If your friend has reached the street, your street, तभी आप उसको building का बारे में बताएंगे. Like my building is this color or my building is this tall. Huh? So similarly, you will tell about the subshell only and only if you know the orbit. So azimuthal quantum number it tells you about the subshell in a given shell. In a given shell. If you don't know the shell number, we cannot tell anything about the subshell number also. Similarly, when we talk about the magnetic quantum number will tell you about the orbital in a given subshell. In a given subshell. ठीक है. Now, for all of these principal quantum number, symmetrical quantum number, and magnetic quantum number, we'll be having certain allowed values. For example, for the orbit or shell, the allowed values are the counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So if somebody says the principal quantum number it is equal to 5, you will see yes, correct. 5, yes, correct. 5 because 5 is one of the counting numbers. The principal quantum number is 112. That is also correct. Principal quantum number can be 112 because it is a counting number. It is a natural number. But if somebody says principal quantum number it is equal to -2, you will say no, that is not possible. Because -2 it is not a counting number, it is not a natural number. If somebody says principal quantum number it is equal to 0, you will say no, that is not possible. Why? Because the principal quantum number can only have the value that is natural. That is counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, that's the only thing that you need to learn about the allowed values of principal quantum number. In the case of azimuthal quantum number, L it is given by 0 to n minus 1, where n is the principal quantum number. What is n? Sajid, what is n here? What is this
Principal
n?
quantum number.
Sajid, turn your mic on and tell me.
Principal
Principal quantum
quantum.
number. Principal quantum number या फिर वो शेल, या फिर वो शेल नंबर, ठीक है ना? वो शेल नंबर और प्रिंसिपल क्वांटम नंबर सेम चीज है. So for example, we are in the first shell. We are in the first shell. So what will be the value of L? L will be equal to 0 to n minus 1. N minus 1. What is the value of n in this case? We are in the first shell. This is the shell number. ये वन है फर्स्ट शेल में. तो क्या हो जाएगा? n की वैल्यू क्या होगी? We are in the first shell. कौन से शेल में है साजिद?
फर्स्ट
फर्स्ट शेल में. तो n की वैल्यू क्या होगी फर्स्ट शेल के लिए? What will be the value of principal quantum number for the first shell?
0
1.
L
हाँ
की
भाई 1 है ना. 0 नहीं हो सकता.
L
एक
की वैल्यू
सेकंड.
0.
हाँ एल की भी. नहीं यहाँ से लेकिन आप बोलिए, ठीक है ना? एन, ठीक है. अगर आपको आती है क्या चीजें फिर आप थोड़ा बताइए. इफ यू नो देन हम इतना टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे ना. जैसे एक बार बताइए आप. आई एम राइटिंग एन की वैल्यूज हियर एंड देन आई एम राइटिंग एल की वैल्यूज एंड आई विल राइट द वैल्यूज ऑफ एन. एन इज इक्वल टू 1. तो एल की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी?
0.
0. 0 का मतलब एस सबशेल एंड दिस एस सबशेल इज द फर्स्ट शेल, तो 1s लिख सकते हैं इसको. सही
जी.
है ना? एंड व्हाट विल बी द वैल्यू ऑफ एम?
0.
M as 0. We are in the second shell. What will be the value of L?
1. 0
नहीं
and
नहीं,
1.
0 and 1. 0 and 1 ना. ठीक है.
हाँ.
And this 0 is S subshell. This S subshell is of 2s. Second shell का है तो 2s लिखेंगे. This 1 is the P subshell and the P subshell it belongs to the second shell, तो 2p लिखेंगे. Make sense?
Yes.
तो ये क्या हो जाएगा बताइए जरा. फिर यहाँ पे M की वैल्यू क्या होगी? What will be the value of M?
0.
0. In this, when L is equal to 1, what will be the value of M?
-1 0 1.
-1 0 and +1. चलिए ठीक है. That means you know these things. ठीक है ठीक है. Okay fine. ठीक है. तो आप पहले ही बताते ना कि आपको पता है. आई थॉट दैट आई एम गोइंग टू स्टार्ट दिस चैप्टर एंड यू डोंट नो. ओके ओके ठीक है. तब तक ये क्लियर है उसका. देन यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. इफ आई से which of the following values are allowed? N is equal to 2. L it is equal to, let us suppose, 2. Is this allowed? Is this possible? Target?
Yes.
No.
No, this is not possible.
देखिए n
This
जब,
is not possible.
sorry, why not possible? Tell me.
It is because if n is equal to 2, L will be 0 and 1.
हाँ L will be 0 and 1 only, है ना. ठीक है. चाहिए सब तो ठीक है. ओके क्लियर है फिर आपका. ओके fine fine fine. So we will start in 5 minutes. We are going to start. Okay, Sajid, if you want to
Yeah.
take some rest, आप थोड़ा सा rest ले ले because you have been learning for half an hour. ठीक है. We will begin again like 5 minutes only. Okay, with the back.
Okay.
ठीक है. You stay in the class.
जी.
Don't leave. Class में रहिए. Don't leave. Assalamualaikum Alina. How are you, Alina?
Waalaikumsalam, sir. I'm fine.
Fine. Okay. Great. Ali, how are you?
I'm fine.
Fine. Okay. We will start in 5 more minutes. Okay. We will start in 5 minutes. Sir. Please revise whatever we have done in the last lecture. Okay, have some chat. Ali, have you sent the code? Ali, have you sent the syllabus?
No, sir.
Can you send it to me on WhatsApp? Okay, तो Ali इसमें से I think 24th is the oh my God. Physics में laws of motion, which are laws of motion. Newton's laws of motion. Laws of motion पूरा complete हो गया physics में आपके Ali in your school.
Yes, sir.
Force F is equal to ma, free body diagram, pulley, सब कुछ.
No, sir, not them.
Which is not that. Then what has been completed? Equations of motions or laws of motion? क्या करना है? दोनों ही हुआ है. मोशन इन प्लेन, मोशन इन स्ट्रेट नहीं, काफी मतलब पुली वगैरह नहीं है, पुली कहाँ पे है? पुली, पुली इज नॉट देयर।
No, sir. None.
टेंशन, टेंशन इन अ स्ट्रिंग,
No, sir.
थ्री बॉडी डायग्राम, थ्री बॉडी डायग्राम, ऐसा कुछ?
नहीं है सर।
अरे भाई साहब क्या पढ़ा फिर आपने, कुछ नहीं पढ़ा। कैसे नहीं है, न्यूटन लॉज ऑफ मोशन में तो सारी चीजें होंगी ना। खैर, ठीक है चलिए।
सर बस 3
नहीं,
laws of motion.
थ्री लॉज ऑफ मोशन, एफ इज इक्वल टू एम एम, चलिए ठीक है खैर। सो फर्स्ट चैप्टर इज क्लियर ना फॉर यू अली?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, सेकंड चैप्टर ही तक हो पाएगा आई गेस, है ना? सेकंड चैप्टर मतलब सेकंड चैप्टर भी नहीं हो पाएगा, फर्स्ट चैप्टर तक होगा, बिकॉज सेकंड चैप्टर तो अभी हम लोगों ने स्टार्ट ही किया है। इफ यू हैव डाउट्स ना किसी चीज में तो फिर अब बताइएगा, लेट द लर्निंग योर टीम नो दैट, ठीक है, that you need some extra classes. They will see what slot is vacant for you and me, and then they can schedule some classes. ठीक है। और
ठीक
अगर
है
आपको
सर।
कुछ छोटे मोटे डाउट्स हैं तो फिर यू कैन आस्क मी ऑन दी व्हाट्सएप इटसेल्फ। व्हाट्सएप में आप मुझे मैसेज कर दीजिएगा, ठीक है। साजिद, साजिद आर यू देयर?
Yes.
आपके पास अबू बकर का नंबर है? डू यू हैव अबू बकर्स नंबर?
Yes, I have.
Can you please call him or like message him to join the class, because he also have to join the class.
Okay, I will.
Okay, ठीक है प्लीज। Last 6 minutes, how much we have done? पिन काउंटर नंबर और ठीक है, काफी कुछ कर लिया हम लोगों ने। We did whether the following subshell will exist or not exist, exist not exist, बाकी कर लिया हम लोगों ने। ठीक है। यस साजिद, कॉल किया आपने?
जी कर
ठीक है ठीक है।
वो ऑफलाइन है, नेट नहीं। नेट नहीं चालू है।
Okay, so clear, sir. Not a problem. Today we are going to learn about in detail the different orbitals. Okay. So the shapes of orbitals we are going to basically learn. So you write the heading, shapes of orbital. Now, when we start with orbitals, we have to start with the s orbital first of all. S orbital. So how many types of s orbital will be there? So the s subshell, it has, please write with me, as the value of s subshell as the value of एक second. Value of s subshell नहीं, value of m. Value of m for s subshell is 0. है ना? m is equal to 0 होता है. It has only one orbital. Because एक ही वैल्यू है ना इसकी, that is m is equal to 0. है ना? m की वैल्यू क्या है? 0. So only one value you are having. And that value is 0. ठीक है? And this s orbital, it is spherical in shape. It is spherical in shape. ठीक है? So if I want to make, you have something like this. This is x, y, and z axis. And here you are going to have sphere something like this. ठीक है? And let me just use the blue color. और इसको थोड़ा सा और स्फेरिकल बनाने के लिए and now it looks more like a sphere, right? And maybe I just, now it looks more like a sphere. So this is your x plane, x, this is your y, and this is your z. ठीक है? Now there's one more thing about this particular S subshell is that it is non-directional. It is non-directional in nature. What is the meaning of non-directional? It means that electron density is not at a particular direction. It is equally distributed in all the directions, x, y, and z. In all the directions, the electron density is equally distributed because it is spherical. Now, you will understand the meaning of non-directional more when you understand what is directional. That is the p orbitals and the d orbitals later on. Okay. Write this down. Raise your hand once you're done. Alina, Ali, and Sajid. Raise your hand once you're done. Ali is done waiting for Alina and Sajid. I'm waiting for Alina and Sajid. Please, Sajid, do you know how to raise the hand?
Yeah.
Do you know how to raise hand on Zoom? If you're on laptop, now press Alt and Y. ऑल्ट
What?
वाई प्रेस कीजिएगा तो
जी,
डू यू नो
I'll
हाउ टू रेज हैंड? ऑल्ट प्लस वाई, वाई वाई, ऑल्ट प्लस वाई। समझ में नहीं आ रहा आपको? गॉट इट?
नहीं हो रहा।
नहीं हो रहा है? कैसे नहीं हो रहा भाई? ऑल्ट प्लस वाई से तो होता है। विंडोज है क्या है आपके पास?
Chromebook है।
क्रोमबुक तो विंडोज ही है ना। तो ऑल्ट, उसके बाद वाई नहीं, ऑल्ट प्रेस ऑल्ट एंड देन लाइक वाइल प्रेसिंग द ऑल्ट प्रेस वाई, ऑल्ट प्लस वाई साइमल्टेनियसली।
तब भी
नहीं
नहीं
हो
हो
रहा है? चलो ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। डन, आर यू डन? आर यू डन भाई? तो टेल मी साजिद, आर यू डन? लिख लिया आपने?
रहा। क्या?
आर यू डन राइटिंग?
जी।
आवाज नहीं आ रही क्या? आवाज नहीं। चलिए ठीक है, मूविंग ऑन। राइट नेक्स्ट, ही और राइट। सो फॉर पी ऑर्बिटल्स, देखिए वैसे तो फॉर पी स्ट्रक्चर पहले लिख लेते हैं। फॉर पी स्ट्रक्चर, now for p structure, what is the value of L? L, it is equal to 1. So what will be the value of M? M will be equal to -1, 0, and +1. So there are three values. That is why there will be three orbitals. Therefore, three orbitals. Three orbitals. ठीक है। अब यहाँ पे हम क्या लिख सकते हैं? P subshell has three orbitals. They are कौन कौन से? Px, Py और Pz। ठीक है। इक्वली अगर हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करें इन द थ्री डायरेक्शंस, Px, Py एंड Pz। I'm writing the shape, उसके बाद फिर आपको कर लीजिएगा। So, want to make it अच्छे से बनाना है हमको। Let me make it like this. Then I will just copy and paste. Rotate, flip vertically. ठीक है। So this is, let's suppose ये आपके पास x axis है and this is the y axis या z axis कुछ भी है। Now the loops are on the x axis ना, loops जो हम लोगों ने पढ़ा था। So when since the loops are on the x axis, we can say that this is what? This is px. इसको क्या बोलेंगे? This is the px. अब इसी तरह if the loops are on the y axis तो उसको हम लोग बोलेंगे py. I can just copy paste. By the way, आप ऊपर वाली चीजें लिखते रहें. You can make the loops later on. Rotate 90 डिग्री। ठीक है। तो आपके पास ये क्या आ चुका है? दिस इज y एक्सिस। इसको अब हम क्या बोलेंगे? दिस पर्टिकुलर ऑर्बिटल विल बी नोन एज py। और उसी तरह से z होगा फिर, है ना? तो z के लिए आई कैन मेक समथिंग लाइक दिस, वाइट एंड don't know whether it is possible to rotate this vertical. If I don't know. Horizontal. If I don't know. Rotate it 90 degree. 90 degree. क्या फायदा होगा इससे? कुछ नहीं होगा। ऐसे कर लेते इसको। ये अच्छा नहीं लगेगा। ठीक है, so this will be the PZ. ये आपके पास Z एक्सिस है और ये PZ है। I hope you have written these points. You can draw. Next, as you can see, the electron density in the Px is in the x-axis. In the Py, the electron density is in the y-axis. In the Pz, the electron density is in the z-axis. And hence, we can see that the p orbitals are directional in nature. P orbitals are directional in nature. Now, when you are in the same subshell, for example, you are in the P subshell and you have different orbitals, Px, Py, and Pz. तो जब ऐसा भी जब भी होता है ना, so what happens in these cases is that, please write with me, all orbitals within same subshell, within same subshell, having similar, or they have generally similar shape, size, and also the energy, but differ in the orientation along the axis. Orientation along the axis. And these orbitals are called degenerate orbitals. They're known as degenerate orbitals. So all the orbitals within the same subshell. P subshell के सारे orbital degenerate. That means they have similar energy, but they differ in the orientation along the axis. Similarly, when we will talk about the d orbitals, so d orbitals will be also what? Degenerate. All the 5 d orbitals will be degenerate. They will only differ in the orientation where the along the axis. That's it. Write this down. Let me know once you're done. साजिद, do you have the Zoom app या फिर आप ब्राउजर से यूज कर रहे हैं साजिद?
Zoom app है।
ऐप है, ओके, ठीक है
हाँ।
ठीक है ठीक है। Write this down, raise your hand, and let me know once you're done. हो गया? Please raise your hand once you're done. Let me know once you're done. Alina, Ali, and Sajid. Alina is done. Ali and Sajid waiting for you guys.
Can you scroll little down? Little bit.
Hmm. Let me know, है ना? आराम से पूछ लिया कीजिए साजिद, ओके?
नहीं, नीचे चाहिए और नीचे वाला।
नीचे और कहाँ जाए नीचे?
वो है जो लास्ट लाइन थी अलोंग द, हाँ ये वाला। ओके।
ये तो दिख नहीं रहा है क्या आपको? यहाँ तो थे। Along the axis are called degenerate orbitals. हो गया? डन ना? साजिद?
यस,
हाँ बताने कीजिए भाई.
हो गया।
ठीक है. Very good. Now the third one is d orbitals. If we do the same analysis for the d orbitals, then we can say that value of L will be equal to 2, and the value of M for the d orbital will be -2, -1, 0, +1, and +2. Therefore, we can see that there are 5 orbitals here. 5 orbitals. Now, the d orbitals, they are classified into two different categories. D orbitals हमारे पास दो types होते हैं. There are two types of d orbitals. One is known as the axial d orbital. The other one is known as the non-axial d orbital. Let me just write this down. आप लोग मुझे लिख लो. So here we have axial d orbitals, and we have non-axial d orbitals. Axial d orbitals का क्या मतलब हुआ? Lobes are on the axis. ठीक है. And how many are there? There are two axial d orbitals. These are two. These are two. Non-axial d orbitals will be lobes are between the axis, not on the axis, but they are between the axis. Lobes are between axis. Axis का plural होता है ax, es, and these are three. In order to remember कि कैसे कौन दो है कौन तीन है, we can remember that axial d orbitals 1, 2, non-axial d orbitals 1, 2, 3. So these will be 3 and that will be 2. याद करने के लिए बस है. ऐसे तो बहुत आसान चीजें याद हो जाएगी, लेकिन कंफ्यूज कभी अगर हो जाए, if you are getting confused sometimes, an axial d orbitals, axial d orbital, axial 2, non-axial d orbital, non-axial 3. ठीक है, इस तरह से याद रखना. Now what are the axial d orbitals? बहुत आसान है. First of all, I will draw the axis. ठीक है, अभी आप लोग प्लीज मत ड्रॉ कीजिएगा, बिकॉज उसको हम थोड़ा बड़ा ड्रॉ करेंगे फिर तो छोटा कर देंगे. हम छोटा करके ड्रॉ करते नहीं, क्या कर कैसे करें क्वेश्चन रहेगा. We can do like this, and You can rotate this. Give me a second. And horizontal. And 90 degree. Okay. So this is one of the orbitals. Okay. Like this. And what is the name of this orbital? So here we have the lobes on the x-axis and the y-axis. और इस ऑर्बिटल का नाम है dx square y square. Generally, people call it as dx square minus y square. I mean, you can call it the same way dx square minus y square, but originally it's not minus dx square y square. A dash है ये बीच में. It's not actually a minus sign there. Okay, but people call it. You can also call it what is in the name according to Williams Shakespeare. Okay, so we are now going to look at the another d orbital, that is axial. Just give me a second. First of all, I will paste this one and I will rotate it in the 90 degree. So basically, this we have to start the password. So this d orbital is something like this. कि यहाँ पे आपके पास let me just become this name of this one. And you have a ring along the z-axis. So along the xy plane. This big lobe is in the z-axis. थोड़ा बड़ा कर देते हैं इसमें. So on the z-axis, this is x-axis and this is y. ठीक है, and यहाँ पे ऐसे एक ring. This ring is in the xy plane, and the name of this particular orbital is dz square. Then we have the three non-axial. Non-axials are quite easy to make. Okay, now here we have, these are the loops. Okay, now if the loops are between the x and y axis, we will call it dxy. Okay. Similarly, you can have the same thing. But the loops are not in the xy plane, rather they are in the zy plane. ये आपके पास z और y और z एक्सिस के बीच में है, तो इसको क्या बोलेंगे, dy z। ठीक है, सिमिलरली if the loops so that axis should also be inside. ठीक है, similarly if the loops are between the x and z axis, इसको क्या नाम देंगे हम लोग, we will call this dxz और zx। ठीक है, so these are the three non-axial d orbitals, and as you can see that the d orbitals are also having loops in a particular axis, तो हम क्या कह सकते हैं, the d orbitals are directional in nature। टी के लिए लिखा था कि हम लोगों ने, हाँ लिखा। ठीक है, प्लीज राइट दिस डाउन, लेट मी नो वंस यू डन। एक और लाइन लिख सकते हैं यहाँ पे, d orbitals have five, rather d subshell ज्यादा चलेगा, not d orbital, d subshell, have five degenerate orbitals। चलिए प्लीज कॉपी करते हैं। Let me know once you're done। डन गाइस, आराम से लिखिए, आराम से लिखिए, नो प्रॉब्लम। Alina and Ali waiting for you guys. Done with the next. Okay. Next, you write concept of node and nodal plane. वैसे नोट्स तक ही कर पाएंगे हम लोग आज. Concept of nodes and nodal plane. Now, what is nodes? Basically, तो पहले nodes समझते हैं, उसके बाद we can understand nodal plane also. So, as orbital is the point or the area around the nucleus, the volume around the nucleus, where we have the maximum probability of finding electron. Nodes क्या है? The point around. Please write with me the point. Write this with me around nucleus. At which the probability of finding an electron is zero is called node. Okay, I hope you've got what is node. Now there are two different types of nodes. दोनों को पढ़ना है. Okay. So one node that we have to learn is radial node और दूसरा होता है angular node. Radial या फिर इसको spherical node भी कहते हैं. The other one is known as angular node. So the radial node, it is basically distance dependent. It depends on the distance only. Angular node is actually direction dependent. This direction dependent. Now, radial node or spherical node is from Rn. Yeah, it is also denoted by Sn. This is equal to the value of this. It can be written as n minus L minus 1. If you have been given a particular orbital, उसके लिए आप note how many nodes will be present, आप इसे निकाल सकते हैं. The value of angular node will be equal to the value of L. Value of the simple quantum number for that particular subshell. That is the value of L. इसको लिखिए. And then we can also find the total nodes. Total number of nodes अगर हम बात करें, this will be equal to the radial nodes plus the angular nodes. The radial nodes, that is equal to n minus L minus 1 plus the value of L, that is L. Radial node is n minus L minus 1, angular node is L. It will give you minus L plus L, we get cancelled, and you will have n minus 1, that is the total number of nodes. So these are quite easy but important relationships that you need to memorize and commit to memory. Copy this down, raise your hand once you are done. Waiting for Alina. Now, right next, analysis of spherical nodes or radial nodes. Analysis of analysis of spherical nodes. First, we will look at the 1s orbital. ठीक है, तो इसके लिए ना सब एक डेटा दिखा रहे, ठीक है. फ्रॉम देयर वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ डिड वी कम टू द शेप ऑफ द 1s ऑर्बिटल, और इसमें स्फेरिकल नोड्स कितने होते हैं उसके बारे में थोड़ा समझ लेंगे. ठीक है, जस्ट कितने सेकंड. ठीक है, दिस इज द प्रोबेबिलिटी डेंसिटी ग्राफ फॉर दी 1s ऑर्बिटल. क्या मतलब है इस ग्राफ का, वो हम पहले आपको बता देते हैं. फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर ग्राफ देखिए, द शेप्स जो भी है ना ऑर्बिटल्स के, हमारे पास जो भी शेप्स है, those shapes we did not see those shapes actually. We got some values. I mean, कुछ input है और उसका कुछ output निकला. And you try to understand in those terms. You have some input, like we were doing some experiment. And experiment में क्या होगा? You will give some input and you will get some output. Okay. So for some inputs, we are getting outputs. Now we are going to make a table. Input, output, input, output, input, output. Then we will make x and y axis. And then we can make a graph. यहाँ तक बात समझ में आया? अलीना एंड एली, कैसा नो प्लीज टेल मी. You understood this part? Yes or no? Please tell me. Like, how are we getting a graph? First of all, an experiment is there. In experiment, you have some input, you will get some output. So you can say that input is the x and the output is y. So for some x, y, x, 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 some different x will get different y value. And then you can make a table. From the table, you can make a graph. Alina, Ali, make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me. जैसे x की वैल्यू 1 है तो y की वैल्यू आ रही है 200. फिर x की वैल्यू 2 है तो y की वैल्यू है 250. देन x की वैल्यू 3 है तो y की वैल्यू आ रही है 260, 70, 80. फिर 9, 10 में फिर इट इज गेटिंग डिक्रीजिंग. अलीना, अली, मेक सेंस? यस और नो? बताइए, जल्दी बताइए ना.
Yes.
आवाज नहीं आ रही आप लोग दोनों की. ठीक.
Yes.
तो बस अब आपको इतना समझना है यहाँ पे, यहाँ थोड़ा सा आप जस्ट टेक अ लीप ऑफ फेथ हियर एंड ट्रस्ट मी दैट वी हैव गॉट समहाउ 1s के लिए ये ग्राफ होता है. एंड दिस ग्राफ इट इज टेलिंग मी दिस इज द न्यूक्लियस. यहाँ पे आपके पास न्यूक्लियस है, ठीक है. As you go far away from the nucleus, this is the radius. Our distance जो है ये far away from the nucleus की जा रहा है. And as we go far away, it is telling me where we have the maximum probability of finding an electron. So maximum probability यहाँ पे कहीं पे है. ठीक है, this is the maximum probability of finding an electron. And if for the 1s orbital, and if we move further on, then slowly what will happen? The probability of finding an electron is going to decrease. It is going to slowly decrease. और ये यहाँ पे it seems like it looks, or it is actually यहाँ पे कि this particular point is touching the x-axis. It should not really touch the x-axis. It should go till the infinity. है. It is slow, धीरे-धीरे ये चला जाएगा, but it will not touch the x-axis. So from this particular graph, we have to turn this graph into a shape. If I want to turn this graph into a shape, then the shape that is only possible, it is a spherical shape. Slowly the electron density is going to increase, फिर धीरे से वो decrease करने लगेगा, and after that it will be, after a certain point it will be zero. ठीक है. So this is the graph that we are going to, this is the shape that we are going to get. You will understand the shape how we are getting from the graph in the 2s orbital more efficiently. अभी ये आपको शायद उतना समझ में ना आए, ठीक है, that how we are getting spherical shape. So this is the spherical shape, and as you can see in this particular orbital there is no node. कहीं पे node नहीं है. Like you have only some probability of finding an electron. And as I am saying, this particular point, it is not going to touch the zero point. वो zero, sorry, x को touch नहीं करने वाला है. So this is not, never going to get to zero. So we can say that spherical node will be equal to how much? If I put the formula also n minus L minus 1, this will be equal to n is equal to 1, value of L for s orbital is equal to 0, minus 1 आपके पास कितना आ जाएगा? Spherical node is equal to 0. Now we are going to move, please don't write now, ठीक है? लिख लीजिएगा आराम से, कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी. Second में 2s orbital we are going to see, 2s orbital. Now you will understand 2s orbital more efficient. ठीक है? Again, something that you have to take from me is that we have got somehow this particular graph for the 2s orbital. We have got this particular graph for the 2s orbital. ठीक है? अब यहाँ पे अगर आप देखें, then initially there is some electron density यहाँ तक, there is some electron density, then it is touching the x-axis. So when something touches the x-axis, इससे क्या मतलब होता है? X की तो कुछ वैल्यू है, but the y value is 0. That means probability of finding an electron at this particular point, it is equal to 0. And then again it is increasing. So what type of graph we can make? So for this portion, I can make a. Ali, is it lagging too much, Alina? Alina and Ali, is it lagging too
No,
much?
sir.
It's not lagging. Ali, तो फिर I think आप नहीं हो रहा है. See again. So for this initial portion, I can make a sphere as we have done for the 1s orbital. ठीक है? This is the sphere that we can make for the initial portion. Then after that, there is a node. After that, there is a blank space. And then again, we have to make a sphere. But we cannot make a sphere once again, because if we make a sphere, then what is going to happen? In this sphere, वो पूरा का पूरा आ जाए. So we cannot really make a sphere. That will be more like a donut. हम आपको बताते हैं. I mean, I cannot show. I can show you the 3D shape also, but if I want to draw, तो draw करने में तो ये 2D ही होगा. So here is the node. ठीक है? और फिर ये जो ऊपर जाना, दिस इज डोनट. Here we have probability of finding electron. Here we have finding of. So this is sphere, और उस sphere के ऊपर फिर आपके पास क्या है? डोनट. And here we are having one node, and this node, if you see, it is distance dependent. It is dependent on the distance. So if I start initially here we have some probability of finding electron. The probability of finding electron is still there. But as soon as I reach this point, the probability of finding electron becomes 0. That is why this is spherical node, and these spherical nodes are distance dependent. No matter where you go, even if you go in the up side, here also you are going to face a node. The same distance if you go this side, or you go this side, or you go this side, you are going to face a node. Okay, now let's look at the numerical value. You can say that radial node, spherical node, same thing, that is equal to n minus L minus 1. The value of n for 2s, it is equal to 2 minus L, that is equal to 0 minus 1. We have 2 minus 1, that is equal to 1. So there is one spherical node. Does this make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me. ठीक है. Basically तो conceptually and more important is this part, जो आसानी से आप निकाल सकते हैं. From graph वो थोड़ा सा हमने आपको push किया है to conceptualize how to go from a graph to a particular shape. That is not really needed, but if you want to understand properly things, you can. Like if you don't want to have any gaps in understanding, then you have to think about it. How? You have to think about it. No, I can explain it only in certain bits, but how can you go from graph to a particular shape? है ना? It could be also in theory. पहले एक स्फीयर होगा, उसके ऊपर फिर एक और स्फीयर होगा, बट उस दोनों स्फीयर के बीच में there will be some gap. Now a sphere is a complete, like वो पूरा एक solid होता है, inside कुछ gap नहीं होना चाहिए. If you want a gap, you have to make a donut. ठीक है, donut type of shape. Write this down, raise your hand once you're done.